What story have you been telling yourself without even realizing it? Maybe it's the story of I'm not good enough, I'm too old, I'm too late, I always mess things up, nothing ever works out for me. You know the stories. Uh, Here's the thing though. Your brain, it doesn't stop to ask, is this true? It simply asks, should I keep believing this? Today, let's talk about the stories that we repeat and how they quietly become the life that we live. Hello, beautiful humans. It's your girl, Andrea, and welcome back to Reframe with Andrea, where we challenge old beliefs and we shift our perspective and intentionally create the life that we feel aligned with of who we truly are. Last week, we talked about becoming, about authenticity, about building confidence one choice at a time. This week, we're looking even deeper because before confidence, before courage, before action, there's a story. And whether you realize it or not, the story is influencing every decision that you make. And let's be honest, your brain loves familiar stories. Our minds are incredible. They look for evidence to support what we already believe. If you believe I'm always overlooked, guess what you'll notice? Every single moment that you're overlooked. But you'll ignore the moments where you're appreciated. And I'm sure you know those too. Not because you're lying to yourself, but because your brain is trying to remain consistent. It protects familiar stories, even when those stories no longer protect you. Imagine your mind is like a radio station. Whatever station is playing determines what fills the room. If the station is constantly broadcasting, I'm not good enough, I'm behind, I'll probably fail, that's the soundtrack that you'll live by. But here's the beautiful part: you have the power to change the station. Not overnight, not with all this toxic positivity. Everything is always great, things are always wonderful. That just doesn't work. That's honesty. But it does happen with intentional repetition because that's how we break old habits, old stories. A story isn't a fact. It really isn't. One of the most freeing realizations I've ever had was understanding that the story is not the same thing as the truth. And it took me a while to get there. Just because you've repeated something for years doesn't make it true. Maybe someone spoke those words over you. Maybe one painful, traumatic experience became your identity. Maybe disappointment became your expectation. But stories, they can be rewritten. And honestly, so can lives. I want you to become the author once again. Take control over the pen in your life. And I want you to imagine reading a book where every chapter repeated the exact same mistake. Eventually, you'd put the book down. So, why do we keep reading, rereading the same chapter in our own minds? You don't have to erase the past. That can't be done. Let's be honest. You simply have to stop letting it write your future. Today, pick up the pen again. One new sentence. Transformation doesn't begin with an entirely new life. Sometimes it begins with one new sentence. Instead of, I've always been this way, try, I'm learning a new way. That one sentence can change your entire future. Can I ask you something? What's one story that you've repeated so often that you've started believing that it's simply who you are? I want you to reflect on that. This week, instead of saying, that's just who I am, try saying, that's the story that I've been telling myself, and I can choose to write a new one. If you could rewrite one sentence about yourself today, what would it say? Share it in the comments. Someone else may discover that they have a new story because of your courage. Now, before we go, imagine your life as a book. Some chapters are joyful, some are extremely heartbreaking, some you'd rather skip altogether. But here's what I hope you'll remember. No matter what has happened, the chapter that you're living today doesn't have to sound like the chapter before it. You are not trapped in yesterday's pages because today you're holding the pen, and every thought that you choose, every belief that you challenge, Every new sentence that you embrace becomes the beginning of a different ending. So write with hope, write with intention, and most importantly, remember that your greatest story may still be waiting to be written. If today's conversation resonated with you, I'd love for you to join our community by subscribing and hitting your notification button wherever it's at. Um, Also, if someone came to mind while you were watching or listening, share this episode with them. You never know who may need a reminder that they are not defined by their story, that they've been repeating to themselves. And if you're intentionally ready to create a life that's aligned with who you're becoming, I'd truthfully be honored to walk alongside you. You can explore coaching, guided meditation, or free resources at innerjourneytransformation.com. Next time on Reframe with Andrea, we're exploring why the words that you speak to yourself matter more than the words that others are saying about you, or words that they're using to describe who you are, and how changing your inner dialogue can truthfully begin changing your life. Remember, awareness opens the door, intention walks you through it. So, until next time, my beautiful humans, keep reframing your story one thought at a time. I will see you soon on the next episode.